Episode 6 of Skeleton Crew is out, and I gotta say it again, every week this show gets better. We're gonna break down this episode, of course. I'm gonna give my thoughts on everything that happened, also just talk about how good this show is overall. Before we get started, we're officially on the road to 3,000 subscribers now, guys. If you're new to this channel, I would love to have you here. Leave a comment down below because I most likely will respond. Also, let's try to get this to 50 likes. I can't wait to talk about this episode, so let's get right into it with a little breakdown.
I'm Spider-Man.
We start off this episode with the kids escaping the treasure room and escaping Jod by going through a trash chute and ending up in the snow. While Fern, Wim, and Neel are fine, KB seems to be having some issues. I think I said this a couple weeks ago with my video. I really wanted a KB focused episode, and we actually got it here. We've had other episodes focus on all the other kids, and I was kind of waiting for a KB focused one, and this did not disappoint in the slightest. Meanwhile, Jod is escaping from the treasure room with all of the treasure, but he gets caught by the bounty hunter pirates. Of course, he tries to swindle his way out of it, but of course he gets captured. Since this planet is a peacekeeping planet, we see the Republic X-Wings flying and the kids are adoring them. Again, with the kids seeing an X-Wing, realizing how cool and how crazy it is, it brought back that feeling of seeing Poe's X-Wing in The Force Awakens. It really felt like seeing an X-Wing here was special. Now it's in this low point where the kids just got betrayed by Jod. They're not really getting along with one another. We've got KB and Fern fighting, and we've got Wim and Neel kind of not getting along. So the group decides to split up. This is their low point. This is their end of Empire Strikes Back moment where the bad guy wins. Their whole goal is to get back to the ship because KB does have the coordinates back to Ad-Aden, but they want to go about it a different way. Fern thinks the fastest route is to climb up this giant hill, but not everyone can do that, and Fern doesn't seem to realize that. While Wim sees these robotic crabs that he thinks he should follow. So the group splits up. We have KB going with Wim, and we have Neel going with Fern. And I loved this because each of them learns a new lesson here. Fern and KB aren't getting along because, well, KB needs some special attention. She's not doing well. She basically shuts down here, and that's because we learn in this episode she is a cyborg. We find out why she's wearing this headgear, and it's because she's very different from the other kids. She got into an accident a long time ago and now is part machine. Problem is, her augments are corroding and they need to be fixed. So the group splits up, and then we catch back up with Jod. Jod's captured by Brutus and the pirates that he used to work with, and he tries to plead his case. I don't know if he's using some sort of Jedi moves here, but he does manage to get out of this by telling them about Ad-Aden and all of the treasure that is there. And the reason I'm sort of implying that he may have used the Force here is because he gets everyone to agree with him. He rallies the troops, letting them know that if they trust him, when they get to Ad-Aden, all of that gold, the endless supply of gold, could be theirs. Back with the kids, Fern and Neel try climbing this mountain, but Neel just can't do it. Fern gets really frustrated in the same way that she was frustrated with KB. And it's here where Neel kind of teaches Fern a lesson. Not everybody can do the same things as her. Everybody's different. People have different abilities and disabilities. And that's okay because everyone brings their own strengths to the table, and Fern now realizes this. Just because it was the fastest and quickest route that she could accomplish doesn't mean she's going to leave behind her friends, her group. They have to work together to solve their problems, and I love how this show is introducing life lessons, and we're going to talk about the other ones now. Continuing on the idea of people having their own strengths even if they don't realize it, we have KB in a dire situation where she's about to lose her own life, but we have Wim, the reluctant hero, save the day. And he's not reluctant in the sense that he doesn't want to help, but he doesn't think he can help. He's always had this idea of being a hero in the sense of being a Jedi, wielding a sword, but he's a hero in a different way here. He managed to help KB create the part to save her life, and he becomes a hero, but not in the way he thought. Heroes come in many shapes and sizes. Again, another lesson we learn in this episode. And similarly, we get another lesson learned from Wim to KB, realizing that it's okay that you're different. We're always going to stick by your side because, well, we're your friends. The show reminds me so much of Clone Wars in the sense that each episode has its own motif, its own lesson to be learned, and I feel like that's kind of the heart of Star Wars, and this show is doing it fantastically. KB and Wim, after following all of these little robot crabs, arrive at the home of them where this giant robot crab emerges, and it's got tons of cool Easter eggs on it. A behind the scenes video shows that there's a little C-3PO, a little R2-D2, and even a little Millennium Falcon on it. It's also just so cool that they use stop motion for this. I thought that was super well done. Luckily, Fern and Neel save the day by getting to the ship, taking out the giant crab, and picking up their friends, bringing this whole little journey that they just went on full circle. So they manage to get back to the ship, and while they're escaping, they're actually pulled into this giant trash compactor. It's at this point where the kids have to come together and break their chains and become the heroes that they want to be. There's this button on the ship that they've been told the entire series not to press, especially by 33. And at this point, they have to stop following the adults. They have to stop following the rules they were given and kind of go on their own path. They're working together as a unit now, and they build up the courage to press the button. And I love the metaphor of the button. It's their stepping off point. They're becoming their own people. They're not just kids anymore. They press the button and the entire outer shell of the Onyx Cinder blows up, revealing a new shiny ship underneath, which allows them to escape from the trash compactor. This ship looks so cool, and again, it's another metaphor for shedding your skin, a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, becoming anew. I absolutely loved this, and as they blast off into the sunset, the episode ends. Each week, the show is blowing my mind, not in any super big Star Wars cameo way, but in the sense that they're telling a very simple story here, and it's resonating so well. Also, Bryce Dallas Howard directed this episode, and it feels like everything that she touches in terms of Star Wars turns to gold. It visually looks amazing for a TV show. The acting is fantastic, and most importantly, in my opinion, is the heart and the character. When it comes to film and TV, at least in my own experience, story and character trump everything else. And because this show is mainly focusing on those two things, I think that's why it's so successful. I've seen so much praise for this show online. I really haven't seen much negativity at all, and that's such a good feeling. It really bums me out that there's only 2 episodes left of this show, and I love how we're kind of setting up this big meeting between Jod and his pirates and these kids back on Atten. I'm hoping for some more lore, I'm hoping for a big confrontation, and I honestly think Jod may turn good again. I'm loving these kids. I'm loving this show. I gotta know what you guys think down below in the comments. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. It means so much to me. I will see you all very, very soon.